Well, what is the Regional Transformation Spiritual Warfare School? I really want to share with you, how did this school start? What is the history behind us even teaching and training in this spiritual warfare regional transformation school? My first book that the Lord told me to write was Authority to Tread, and that was back in the early 2000s while we were working with Peter and Doris Wagner at the World Prayer Center. Greg was working as registrar of Wagner Leadership Institute. I was working as the manager of the bookstore, believe it or not, and which was awesome fun. Teasingly, Peter said I was really good at buying frou-frou that people liked. And so that became a joke on the staff. Do we have good frou-frou? Anyway, it was funny. But yeah, so I was managing the bookstore, but the Lord had spoken to me through five prophetic words, the fifth one being Jane Hammond, that I was to write a book. So the first book that I wrote was Authority to Tread. And when that book was released, Peter and Doris then invited me to begin teaching the material in Authority to Tread for Wagner Leadership Institute. And so in this book, Authority to Tread, it talks about what is strategic level spiritual warfare. It talks about what is spiritual mapping. How do you take the two together and put a prayer strategy together that will hit the mark for breakthrough in the spirit? What else does it talk about? It talks about rules of engagement. What should or shouldn't we do? How do we personally be prepared to engage in strategic level spiritual warfare? How do you pray to see breakthrough? How do you maintain the victory? So it's very practical in its teaching. So as I was teaching this course for WLI from my book Authority to Tread, the Lord really began to speak to Greg and I that we needed to launch a school that would really go in great depth about this topic, to where we could really teach extended hours. And so we launched, oh my goodness, guys, it sounds like so long ago. We launched this school back in 2009, had the very first one here in Colorado Springs. There were 18 that were in the class. And so basically, what this Regional Transformation Spiritual Warfare School is we teach through what is strategic level spiritual warfare. We also teach through what does it mean when the Lord has called us to have dominion? And I'm not talking taking over the earth. I'm saying, how do we steward the earth? How do we steward our cities, our regions, our nations, our spheres of influence? What is our call as prophetic warriors, as intercessors, to engage in transformational prayer in cities and regions and nations? So we learn our kingdom of heaven inheritance and who we are as sons and daughters, heirs of God, co-heirs of Christ. And from that position and encountering Him in His presence, in His glory, we begin to hear prayer strategies that will involve strategic level spiritual warfare prayer. Well, we will see prayer strategies bird to contend with principalities, territorial spirits over city, regions, nations, spheres of influence in culture. We go into depth about spiritual mapping. How do we do spiritual mapping? And we go through all the points and guidelines to empower you to know how to spiritually map. You know, one of my favorite topics about this Regional Transformation Spiritual Warfare School is how do we function as a team? You know, there are no lone rangers in strategic level spiritual warfare. So we talk about there are people that you'll go to war with and people you'll go to lunch with. You know, that Sheets coined that phrase many years ago, but it is so true. Who are those that you invite to pray with you on an assignment? How do you know those who are ready to engage in warfare? How do you function as a leader? How do we move forward in God's timing? So there is so much that you will learn that will empower you to be able to pray effectively and victoriously. How do we prevent backlash and counterattack? Is there such a thing as backlash and counterattack? And how do we maneuver to prevent that from happening? We talk about the importance of a prayer shield, praying for you and the team members, going in God's kairos timing, learning how to maneuver with Him in His timing and as a team in unity, and the importance of having intercessors and prayer warriors praying around you and surrounding you on the assignment. We will, not only in the Regional Transformation Spiritual Warfare School on Unit 1 and Unit 2 that we now have online. See, we used to do it one Saturday a month for 6 months. And on the final weekend, we would meet, and we'd meet Thursday night, all day Friday, all day Saturday, because we go out and do a prayer assignment together, and you get activated in what you've been taught, where myself or one of our facilitators teaches this in person, but the whole class would have been done in person. Now what we have is we have Unit 1 and Unit 2 online, and you can watch that individually. You can watch it as a group, the whole group. Each individual in the group just has to be registered and have paid for the course. But then Unit 3, now we come in person for 4 days where we can have that personal relationship, and we go out and we pray on the land on assignment. So not only are you learning about this, but you're being taught how to do it, being activated in it, and being empowered even upon completion of the course to be able to continue to do this as the Lord leads with the team that has been trained. And so this is the foundation of the Regional Transformation Spiritual Warfare School. This is how it has begun to evolve over all of these years. Can you believe that it has been since 2009 that we taught the first in-person school, and now here we are in 2024 when we are filming this, 2024, all of these years later, we have trained hundreds, we've trained thousands in strategic level spiritual warfare prayer, where people are seeing transformational, tangible results to prayer. You know, and this isn't even a requirement, but we have a prayer network, Strategic Prayer Apostolic Network. So after people go through this training, they then will receive an invitation to become a part of the prayer network, Strategic Prayer Apostolic Network. We've taught whole groups. They're like, thank you, we're trained, but don't feel led to become a part of the network, which is fine. But those that are like, I want to be with intercessors, I want to be with leaders and believers that are hearing from the Lord, receiving strategies, then once the school is completed, then you receive an invitation to become a part of our prayer network with like-minded believers across our nation and the nations who pray together and hit the mark to see victorious breakthrough realized as a result of prayer. So I hope that helps you understand what is this Regional Transformation Spiritual Warfare School. And so check it out. All of you prophetic warriors, all of you warrior prophets, all of those called to intercede as strategic warriors, prayer warriors, go check it out. This will be an awesome opportunity for you to receive training and impartation, and we can't wait to meet you in the process. God bless.